Well, hello. My voice went croaky. This is a bit of a weird one. So, this set of, well, very bizarre, peculiar set of ships are A, mislabeled wrong completely, probably, and B, they're in sort of my private military collection, as I'm nicknaming it as the JPM. And as I spin, for no reason at all, you could probably get a grasp of, well, some weirdness. So, yeah, I'm just gonna show them off because I'm bored. So, I don't find the ship. So any fleet movement may require a, uh, well, I wouldn't call it a fighter, but an upscale fighter is probably more or less as far as I'm going to get. As you see, we have a large ship that is not quite large, and we have a couple of guns on her. So this is, well, what I've called a gunboat. It's really maybe a heavy fighter. An attack craft, God knows what classification it falls into because do you use naval, do you use aircraft? It's space, it generally breaks the rules, but we have two attack was it assault cannons on the side and artillery one on the top. So more or less, she's got a bit of firepower. She's small, she's nimble, she's pretty weak, and she can go kapew. This is more or less your scouting vehicle, your sort of anti-fighter, sort of like hunter. Very rarely you would use this in a capital ship role. And if you do, you would more or less be attacking some of the smaller crafts and more or less getting into the fight and getting out of the fight is generally something you would do with this vehicle. And yeah, there's nothing too spectacular. And before I crash this into something important, she's basically something that's well, she's basically just something nimble, brawlable. Nothing too special, but she can do a job. And here, what we have is classified as a frigate in its name, but it's more or less a gunboat yet again. Though similar in the sort of mindset of this being light, nimble, could get a fight. She's more or less an escort, would be a more correct term, I would dare say. Maybe a corvette at the highest classification for ship name. Ooh, I even spawned in the right way around. As you can see, she's simple, bit of turrets on her. Obviously, I can place the turrets with some of the higher caliber weapons, but you know, you get the gist. She's small, she's nimble, the doors are upside down. This is more or less, like I said, you probably have your more fighter hunters, and this will be your sort of patrol vessel that would more or less be the backup for this. So something that displaces this craft, you would probably go for this craft in sort of light patrol, light fighting, very minimal. And now we move on to what I've referred to as a light and heavy cruiser, but more or less, well, this is more or less probably a corvette destroyer high. Well, I would say destroyer really, but kind of destroyer escort. It's not very easy to find this one, but this one's more, like I say heavy cruiser, but she's probably more or less closer to a destroyer. If you're using naval terms, but space terms sometimes flip that, so God knows what she should be classed as. But she's quite combat capable, surprisingly enough, when I tested her. And yes, well, she's covered in gun ports. This is probably more, like I said, that's if that's an upgrade from the gunboat to more a bigger gunboat. This is definitely an upgrade from that to this. Why, firepower is not too much of an improvement. Her weight and displacement definitely is. and the fact they could probably have a rail gun chucked on the front of her suitingly should be good to use. So yeah, we'll go with this one first, since this is the sort of lighter version. And that's I've just frozen because the game's frozen. Oh, it's back. Strangely enough, I like what's on record though. It's strange. Anyway, so she's fully atmospheric capable in Outer Planet. Also probably works as a diplomatic ship. She's generally the use and abuse all-rounder. And she's got a bit of an interior, which is nice. So we have a mirrored section, which will on the other side. We have sort of upper deck, front deck, forward. Come around here, we have a door. That leads you down to a depressurized section, because I'm smart, to the engines, so you can do maintenance. And generally, a maintenance section, which leads you down to here, which can get you to the back hydrogen thruster, the hydrogen tanks, and generally the pipes. To be fair, this is probably one of the few ships where the interior actually works terrifyingly well. Anyway, if we go down here, we meet up with the gravity generator event and some gyroscopes. Also crossed over to the other side. Through this door, we find some more pipes, and we find sort of the front deck. We have the jump drive above us, and we have the nose deck. With windows, it's nice. You just have rooms. Kind of makes it more ship-like and feels interesting. This is depressurized for some reason. Don't know why. Are you deep? I can hear pressurizing somewhere. Bizarre. Anyway, yep, so we're upper deck here. This will lead up to the bridge, a bit awkward, but don't know why she's depressurized, but it was pressurized. Anyway, so yeah, we have the bridge. Kind of simple. Kind of smooth. You get the gist. No lights because I'm an idiot. This isn't pressurized either. I don't know why it's depressurized. I have to figure that out. So we have a sort of four-way connector. They all sort of link up to the same spots. This will lead you down here. Which will lead you down here into this glass little walkway. Which then leads you over here. Which can go up here. And which leads you over here. Which leads you to what is the hydrogen generation area. Which then you come back around here. And that's the ship pretty much. Problem is, I don't think there was any vents or this was depressurized when spawned in. Ah, God knows. So it is this section apparently. What do you not like about this is a good question. I don't know. Anyway, so the front section's a bit bugged. I don't know why. It was pressurizing at some point in history, so yeah. It's being funny. I probably left a door open somewhere, as I just depressurized the entire ship. Anyway, she can't be pressurized. She's just been a bit funky. And yeah. So for what is being a lighter, it's like I said, multi-purpose ship really. Escort corvette, like I said. This room's probably more near destroyer and cruiser levels, as she's a bit more heavier, a bit longer, more warshippy. We have a hangar, followed by turrets, and a back door to the top. So we have quite a strange setup here. We have very strange staircases to the bridge. Simple, she's armoured. She's got some levels of windows, so the windows are a bit more reinforced. And she can take some hits. Interior turrets everywhere. We have what is the jump start room, reactors, batteries. If main power goes off, there's your backup power. Same both sides. We move down. We have what is essentially access to cargo, hydrogen. Should be able to dump its stuff in. Oh god, lag's back again. Slowly doing some recording, strange. We have the main reactor, as you can see. And now we can move down to a deck lower, and we have the hangar. No lights, because for some reason I forget them. Hangar's quite large. Observation deck we have here, we can move down lower. More access to the hydrogen systems, pipes. Small room. Go around here. We have a hallway. Not going to pressurize this. Leads into the hangar. As you can see, the hangar set up to depressurize and pressurize. It's a bit clever. I believe these are the side airlocks, which I actually forgot about. That they were a thing. Yes, they are. Then we have what is the main hallway, which you have the reactors above. And all the gun sort of sections that lead to the weapons. I left that door open like an idiot. We have what is a very scary interior gunfire section here. And then the main frontal armament of rocket launchers. Built before warfare, so you know, she's a bit old in design, but probably could be retrofitted and is still quite deadly because her armor is quite tough in places. Because I do believe if that's light armor, this should be heavy. This is basically all these are massive chunks of armor welded in places and covered, I believe, with some internals of lights, which is a bit of a mix, I think, if I remember correctly, in a build. Now we have a light carrier here, sort of support craft. Very much multi-role space atmosphere capable. I don't think it can go back into atmosphere. I think she might be able to, I can't quite remember. She probably can. She's probably intended to more or less be an atmosphere only support role, but she can come from space and whatnot. So we have a front hangar, quite spacious, very simple. Oh, flying near, jump drive, gravity generator. Not pressurized because not enough space for that. She's quite compact. Reactors, batteries. A lot more power on this one, and yep, bridge. It's quite simple. Got some defense turrets. Like I said, she's more or less sort of a supporting vehicle. Plenty of power just in case you need to do something daft like merge block it, god knows. She's got the front hangar and she's pretty much built to sort of fly anywhere. Here we have what's been called a battle cruiser, but it's probably more destroyer cruiser. Like I said, skill wise, it's very strange because what I call stuff is weird. But she's a heavy and light combo mix, if I remember correctly, and yeah, front elements, side elements, and yeah, she's covered in head to toe with gun ports. She's armoured. She's quite nimble, quite small, and quite compact, so she's generally quite functional in the sense where there's not much interior. As we pop in here, you have the bridge. Bridge, backup bridge, and then CIC, which is down here, which I don't think has a bridge in it, because I never... Yeah, well, it's got a bridge in it. Yeah. She's more or less a functional fighting ship. She's more... It's designed to fight, yeah. Rest is pretty much internals. It's batteries, thrusters, and yeah. So, like I said, it's pretty much thrusters and batteries in and all that crap. All the internals, but, you know, she's functional. She's meant to take a hit, and she looks quite nice while doing it, so kudos on me for that one. Now we have what is the heavy carrier. Like I said before, warfare, so she's a bit weird. So I just bounced off a gun. We have that sort of the main flight deck. Turrets galore. We'll enter the bridge, since the bridge is isolated. This this is the last thing I did, so it's very weird. Sort of gave up in places. Very strange, barely functional. And here you have sort of the flight deck bridge. So yeah. So we can go around back. As you can see, guns, thrusters. She's only space capable, she can't go in atmosphere. On moon, I don't think she's too heavy. And we have sort of this weird sort of diagonal hangar to help in the main hangar in the flight deck. And of course you have the main hangar which is down here, which we'll get to soon. I believe we have a side door buried somewhere here. If I remember where I put it, it's back here. So this one was very much, I built the interior first, outside later. So we have, you know, that goes saved. I'm using the when I was building the competition thing worlds because it was easier than making a new one. So yeah, we've got sort of view into the hangar. Lights a bit minimal, but there are some lights in here. So we have a choice of up, which then leads you to what is engineering and maintenance. So we have some thrusters you can work on. We have cargo. Oh, I fell down. I believe this will lead you to a reactor, and then we have hydrogen and oxygen. We have even more reactors down there apparently. So yeah, this is engineering. A bit basic, but if I had more mods and stuff to be decorative, I could do it. It works. Ooh, I believe. Yep. So this is what Stillwell went up. Is there anything else over here? Nope. Like I said, she's a bit spacious in places. So go down here. So we came up this, I believe. Oh, no, we didn't. We came from that direction. Yes. So if we go down, we have jump drives. Sort of maintenance area. Okay, that doorway was just pressurized. I think it just spawned in. It's been a bit weird. So yeah, we have shelving, storage, basically maintenance tunnel. This is kind of what it is. And yeah, we have sort of a corridor that goes alongside the hangar. It's generally pipe, sort of covering the pipe. You can sort of view out as well into the hangar. And we come up to another section which has also got some maintenance. We have what is, I believe this leads into the hangar, if I'm not mistaken. And which leads you to some Mac drivers. So theoretically you should be able to repair every subsystem on hand on ship. I believe this is the main frontal stairwell. For some reason these doors are left been open. Frontal stairwell, which then should bring you up to main deck. And she's mirrored, yep. So we'll go back down this one. So I believe this should take us onto what is a deck above. The previous thing we walked over onto the higher observation deck. Which that would explain I'm missing an interior block? It'd be fine, it's blueprint, but yeah, I'm apparently missing an interior block there. Or, I believe I'm cheating using the events from downstairs to vent this, but yes. We do have a catwalk, let's look at all that. Which leads you back onto the mirror side of this, so the links of the carrier are quite thin, but you know, you can walk across them, you can fight across them in a gunfight. They sort of have a purpose. Down we go. Was this the... yep. mirrored, as you can see. Now we go here, and we are on the main hangar deck. That leads down. Oop, lights were on. So we have sort of sections of the hangar, blast stored out. Of course, we have the main entrance of the hangar, sort of main deck, pack deck. And so if we came out with that, didn't we? So yes, to show off, we have what is the personnel way down to the lower deck, below the hangar. Because yes, it's that complicated. And down we go, and round we go. That felt longer than I remember it. And as you see, we have the lowest deck, which has some more, definitely Star Wars Venator inspired lowest decks, probably maintenance really. We have the door, which you saw before, if you spotted it when I was looking in the middle. And we have the front decks, which some speedy lights, and our depressurizer because I don't care, and the lowest hangar doors at the front. So now we have on the battle barge I've just bumped into and her turn on, pure functional. I sort of copied paste aside and made probably the most scariest ship I ever have, because this has a fair bit of space armor concept built into her. When I say a fair bit, she's quite tough. Because, like I said, she was sort of put together on a whim, and I've threw her against the Dreadnought. And the Dreadnought, the Dreadnoughts fought each other for about an hour straight, and they were still pretty much functional with modded weapons. So, and this did fairly well against it power-wise. It sort of outgunned it at times due to a rotating tactic of rotating the ship. So this would fire, you rotate to the other face, and saying the firepower was generally even and quite well balanced, it was quite scary. So yes, the scary heavy armor battle barge, and the entrance to this magnificent and abusive creation is here. Main reactors, gyroscopes, and bridge. She's heavy, she's got weapons, she's deadly, she's terrifying. And she has frontal railguns, if you can see through the shadow and cannons, yes. Like I said, this ship is a bit scary for the fact that it's pure functionality. It may look a bit nice on the outside-ish, but internally, she's built to fight and kill, and it's a bit scary. Now we move on to what is a prototype ship that hasn't been finished. Well, it has been finished, but hasn't been finished. And this is labelled correctly as a heavy cruiser. Something when I'm thinking about the RW build, I could have probably looked at some of my prototype ships and gone, yes, I'll snake you, I'll take you. So let's quickly delete some of these, because that's a big one. The carrier is not very nice and computer-wise. Yep. So frontal armament is cannons and railguns. She's kind of old classic ship build, and then yeah, she's got turrets, quite nicely spaced out. I mean, she's not pretty, but she's got some angles on her, which is nice. Some nice features, sort of pyloned in quite nicely. It's just a bunch of ideas sort of crap together, and yeah, there's a reason why she's a prototype ship. Even more bare bones, we have the cockpit, reactors, and she's missing a floor technically, but you have a corridor. I forgot about this bit. Okay, that's just the connection. So yeah, it's the other side. So that's connects up. Right, head around the ship side. That's middle. Even got a ladder stairwell. No gravity generator at all. Oh, I believe that's it. And we have what is essentially the lower observation deck hangar. Who knows? But yeah, she can be driven from down here, which gives you sort of this orbital bombardment feel. So yeah, like I said, there's some weird ships in this sort of lineup, and yeah, this is probably one of the few that I could have transcribed into, like I said, the build competition, because I believe the Spartan itself, I'm thinking about it now, is not too far off. Oh, crap, that's too quick. Oh, that's the wrong button. It's honestly not far off in scale, so I'm going to type in RWI. I believe that's the Thinky right model. So yes, without realising, I've sort of copied and well, I've made a better version of what is essentially this in design and concept. This is shorter. Huh. Yeah, so this is definitely longer than what the Spartan is. Probably both would probably feel about the same firepower wise because there's a few more guns. Yep. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my little tour of some ships, and yeah, I just got bored, so I thought I'd show you off some stuff. There are also some small craft which I can show off, but most of them are just ripped from what I have my blueprints and sort of shoved into the paint scheme of the JPM. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Cheerio, and have fun.